As I sat in my favorite armchair, I couldn't help but reflect on the beliefs that shaped my understanding of love. Growing up, I witnessed my parents' commitment to one another, and it instilled in me the idea that true love thrives on time and attention. I imagined a relationship filled with shared moments, laughter, and the comfort of companionship. However, my relationship with Layla challenged this notion. Her demanding job and constant travel created a gap that was difficult to bridge. I cherished the few moments we shared, but often felt that love alone wasn't enough to sustain us without consistent effort. The loneliness that crept in during our time apart made me question whether I was enough for her. Each missed opportunity to connect chipped away at my self-esteem, and I found myself fearing that I might lose her altogether. In conversations with friends, I sought reassurance. They reminded me that all relationships require effort, yet my situation felt different. I struggled with the anxiety that I might become another statistic of love lost. I realized that while love is powerful, it also requires balance and intention. I began to understand that love isn't solely about constant time together. It's about cherishing the moments we do have. This shift in perspective allowed me to hope for a love that could thrive even amid life's demands. Perhaps our connection could deepen if we prioritized our time together, making those moments truly count. With this newfound insight, I felt a flicker of hope ignite within me. My relationship with Layla wasn't just about struggles, it was about potential. If we communicated openly about our needs, maybe we could forge a path forward together, transforming our love into something enduring and resilient. The phone rang unexpectedly one evening, pulling me from my thoughts. It was my friend Mark calling with news that hit me like a punch to the gut. He mentioned Layla had been seen out with someone else during one of her work trips. I felt a wave of disbelief wash over me. This couldn't be true. Layla wouldn't betray me like that. But as Mark shared more details, I found myself grappling with a painful reality. I had known our relationship was strained, but hearing this from someone outside made it all the more real. It was as if a dark cloud settled over me, shrouding my thoughts in uncertainty. I tried to rationalize what I was hearing, convincing myself it was a misunderstanding or that Mark had misinterpreted the situation. Still, doubt crept in. I had felt the distance between us growing, and now it seemed like the chasm was more significant than I'd ever acknowledged. The truth was hard to accept. I had been so focused on my own struggles and career that I hadn't noticed how far apart we had drifted. The emotional turmoil that followed was overwhelming. I oscillated between anger and sadness, each feeling more potent than the last. How could Layla do this to me? My mind raced with scenarios of betrayal, and I found myself questioning every interaction we'd had. Was she truly committed to our relationship? Or had I been naive to think we could make it work despite the distance? As I struggled with these thoughts, I knew I had to confront Layla. I needed to hear the truth from her, no matter how painful it might be. Yet a part of me hesitated, fearing the answers I might receive. What if my worst fears were confirmed? The possibility of losing her felt unbearable. This internal conflict left me in a state of turmoil. I was caught between the desire to know the truth and the fear of facing a reality I wasn't ready for. I realized that accepting the truth, whether good or bad, was essential for my own peace of mind. But the journey toward that acceptance felt daunting, laden with the weight of unresolved emotions and uncertainty. The weight of Mark's words lingered in my mind, gnawing at my self-esteem like a relentless tide. I had always prided myself on being a dedicated partner, but now I felt like I was losing my grip on everything I thought I knew about our relationship. As I replayed our interactions in my mind, self-doubt flooded in. Was I not enough for Layla? Had my focus on work overshadowed my commitment to her? Each day became a battle against my own insecurities. I found myself questioning every decision I'd made. Was I too wrapped up in my career? Did my ambition push her away? The idea that I might have driven her into someone else's arms stung deeply. It felt like a mirror reflecting my failures, and I couldn't escape its harsh glare. I looked in the mirror each morning, searching for the man I used to be, confident, driven, and secure in my relationship. But instead, I saw a man plagued by uncertainty, haunted by the fear of inadequacy. It was hard to face my friends and family, knowing I might have to admit that my relationship was crumbling. I felt like a failure, as if I had let down not just Layla, but everyone who believed in us. I spent countless nights tossing and turning, consumed by negative thoughts. I questioned my worth, both as a partner and as a person. The loneliness I had initially attributed to our busy lives now felt magnified, echoing my fears. It was a crushing weight, one that I struggled to share with anyone. Yet, amid this turmoil, I realized I had a choice. I could let these feelings consume me, or I could confront them head-on. Recognizing the impact on my self-esteem was the first step towards reclaiming my confidence. I started reminding myself of my strengths, my dedication, my resilience, and my ability to love deeply. Ultimately, I knew that the only way to heal was to face the truth about my feelings and my relationship. It was time to take control of my narrative, to turn the lens inward and find the self-worth that I felt had slipped away. The days that followed were a blur of emotional turmoil. Each moment felt heavy, laden with the weight of uncertainty and heartbreak. I would wake up to the reality of my thoughts, a constant reminder of Layla and the possibility of losing her. I had believed that love could withstand any challenge, but now I was plagued with doubt. The thought of her being with someone else gnawed at me, fueling my insecurities and fears. There were moments when I'd see couples together, laughing and enjoying each other's company. The pang of loneliness would hit me like a physical blow. I couldn't help but wonder if I had taken our relationship for granted, assuming we would always have tomorrow. The ache in my chest grew more profound, each heartbeat echoing the memories of our laughter, our late-night conversations, and the dreams we had built together. Confronting Layla became an insurmountable task. I wanted to ask her about Mark's revelations, but the fear of her confirming my worst fears was paralyzing. What if she admitted to seeing someone else? What if she didn't love me anymore? The emotional roller coaster left me feeling exhausted, drained by the constant cycle of hope and despair. I tried to distract myself with work, throwing myself into projects to numb the pain. Yet no amount of success could fill the void that Layla's absence left in my life. In quiet moments, I would replay our best memories, clinging to them like a lifeline. But each memory was a double-edged sword, reminding me of what I had lost while highlighting my heartache. Friends noticed my withdrawal, and their concern only deepened my despair. I felt like I was wearing a mask, hiding the turmoil swirling within me. It was exhausting to put on a brave face when all I wanted was to scream out my pain. I became a shell of the person I once was, lost in my thoughts and battles, struggling to find a way back to the light. Yet, as heart-wrenching as it was, I recognized that this emotional turmoil was part of my journey. It pushed me to confront my fears and the reality of our relationship. I realized that heartbreak while painful, could also be a catalyst for growth. Perhaps I needed to face the storm before I could find my way to calmer waters. In the midst of my emotional turmoil, I reached a crossroads. The question weighed heavily on my mind. Should I stay in this relationship, or was it time to walk away? I found myself replaying every moment with Layla, searching for signs of love and commitment. Yet, each memory was tinged with uncertainty, making the decision increasingly complex. The love we shared was genuine and profound, but I couldn't ignore the cracks that had formed between us. I felt the distance not just in miles, but in our hearts, and the thought of continuing down this path filled me with dread. I feared that staying would mean enduring more pain and heartache, a slow burn that would only lead to further disappointment. As I weighed my options, I also reflected on the memories we had created together, the laughter, the adventures, and the quiet moments of intimacy. They reminded me of the connection we once shared. But the distance had dulled that connection, and I struggled to reconcile the love I felt with the reality of our situation. I reached out to friends, seeking their advice and perspectives. They offered support and encouragement, but also shared their own experiences of love and loss. Their stories resonated with me, echoing my fears and hopes. I found comfort in knowing that I wasn't alone in this struggle. Many had faced similar dilemmas and emerged stronger on the other side. After days of contemplation, I understood that love should uplift and inspire, not leave you feeling unworthy or adrift. I decided it was time for an honest conversation with Layla. I needed to express my feelings and hear her side of the story. Perhaps there was a way forward, or perhaps we would find that our paths had diverged too far to reunite. Whatever the outcome, I knew that this moment of clarity was a crucial step in my journey toward healing. After wrestling with the decision of whether to stay or leave Layla, I realized I couldn't navigate this emotional labyrinth alone. I needed the wisdom and support of those who cared about me. Reaching out to friends and family felt like a lifeline, a chance to share my struggles and gain perspective on my situation. I started with my close friend Jake, who had always been a sounding board for my thoughts. Over coffee, I laid bare my feelings of confusion, pain, and fear. As I spoke, I could see the concern etched on his face. He listened patiently, offering nods of understanding and the occasional word of encouragement. When I finished, he shared his own experiences with relationships, revealing times he had faced similar dilemmas. His stories made me realize I wasn't alone in my struggle. Love was a complicated journey for many. Encouraged by Jake's empathy, I decided to confide in my family. I called my sister, Emma, who had always been a source of wisdom and support. As we spoke, I felt a sense of relief wash over me. She was compassionate and insightful, helping me articulate my feelings more clearly. She reminded me that love sometimes requires tough decisions, and that putting myself first was not a sign of weakness, but a necessary step toward growth. Through these conversations, I began to see the value of seeking support. Friends and family provided a mirror reflecting my feelings back to me, allowing me to better understand my own emotions. They encouraged me to think about what I truly wanted in life, not just in a relationship, but as a person. Their insights helped me sift through my confusion, highlighting the importance of communication and self-care. I also found solace in small gatherings with friends, where laughter and camaraderie temporarily lifted the weight on my shoulders. In those moments, I realized how vital it was to connect with others, to share my burden instead of carrying it alone. These interactions reminded me of the joy that existed outside my heartache, reigniting a spark of hope within me. Ultimately, the support from my loved ones gave me the courage to face my situation head-on. I understood that seeking help didn't mean I was weak. It meant I was human, navigating the complexities of love and life. Armed with their encouragement and perspective, I felt ready to approach Layla and have the difficult conversations that lay ahead. After grappling with the weight of my decision regarding Layla, I came to a critical realization. I couldn't face this turmoil alone. The emotional strain had become overwhelming, and the clarity I sought felt just out of reach. It was time to reach out to the people in my life who cared about me, my friends and family. They had always been there through the ups and downs, and now I needed their support more than ever. I called up my close friend, Mark, who had always been my go-to confidant. We met at our favorite cafe, a place filled with countless memories and laughter. As I shared my feelings, pouring out the confusion and pain I was experiencing, Mark listened intently, nodding with understanding. His presence was comforting, and as I spoke, I felt the weight of my heart begin to lift. Mark shared his own struggles with relationships, recounting moments when he had faced similar crossroads. Hearing his stories helped me feel less isolated. He reminded me that seeking help and sharing my burden was a sign of strength, not weakness. It was reassuring to know that love could be complicated and messy for everyone, not just me. Encouraged by our conversation, I decided to reach out to my sister, Sarah. She had always been a grounding force in my life. I called her and found a quiet moment to open up about my feelings for Layla and my fears about the future. Sarah listened without judgment, offering her thoughts and insights. She reminded me that love isn't always about perfect timing. Sometimes it's about how you choose to prioritize the moments you have together. Her support felt like a balm to my wounded heart. Sarah suggested I take time to reflect on what I truly wanted, not just from Layla, but for myself. She emphasized the importance of self-care and healing, encouraging me to explore my passions and interests outside the relationship. In the days that followed, I sought the company of friends, engaging in activities that brought me joy. Whether it was hiking, playing basketball, or simply hanging out, these moments provided a much-needed distraction. I began to realize that surrounding myself with supportive people helped me find strength in vulnerability. The encouragement I received made me understand that it was okay to be uncertain, and that seeking help was a natural part of navigating life's complexities. It opened my eyes to the idea that love, while profound, should not come at the cost of losing myself. Armed with the support of my loved ones, I felt more empowered to face the challenges ahead. Their insights and encouragement were instrumental in helping me sort through my feelings and gather the strength I needed to confront Layla. As I continued to navigate the emotional landscape of my life after Layla, I found myself at a crossroads of self-discovery. With the support of my friends and family, I had begun to heal, rediscovering my passions and interests. I immersed myself in work, fitness, and hobbies that had once brought me joy but had taken a back seat during my relationship. It was in this space of self-exploration that I began to open my heart again. One evening, I attended a charity event that a colleague had invited me to. As I mingled with familiar faces and new acquaintances, I felt a sense of purpose and belonging. That's when I met Maya. She was vibrant and engaging, with a smile that lit up the room. We struck up a conversation, and I found myself drawn to her warmth and laughter. It was refreshing to connect with someone so genuinely interested in hearing my thoughts and experiences. As the evening unfolded, we shared stories about our lives, our dreams, and the lessons we had learned from past relationships. Maya had her own journey of heartbreak, and her perspective resonated deeply with me. There was an immediate spark, an easy chemistry that made me forget my worries, if only for a moment. Over the next few weeks, Maya and I spent more time together, exploring the city and discovering shared interests. Whether we were trying new restaurants or attending art exhibits, every moment felt like a new adventure. With Maya, I felt a sense of freedom and joy that I hadn't experienced in a long time. She encouraged me to embrace my passions, and I found myself opening up in ways I hadn't thought possible after Layla. As our connection deepened, I realized that this new love didn't feel like a replacement for Layla. It felt like an evolution of my journey. Maya was patient and understanding, allowing me to process my past while inviting me to embrace the present. I learned that it was possible to cherish the memories of my previous relationship while also making space for new experiences and emotions. In Maya, I found not just companionship, but a partner who supported my aspirations and celebrated my individuality. With her, I discovered that love could flourish in an environment of mutual respect and understanding. We talked about our goals, shared our fears, and created a foundation built on trust and communication. Slowly, I began to realize that happiness is not about avoiding pain or heartbreak. It's about learning from those experiences and allowing them to shape us for the better. With Maya, I found a renewed sense of joy and fulfillment, a reminder that life is full of unexpected twists and turns. As I embraced this new chapter, I understood that love is not confined to one person or one moment in time. It can be rediscovered in the most unexpected places and with the most surprising people. With Maya by my side, I felt empowered to embrace the future, confident that love had the power to heal and transform. As my relationship with Maya blossomed, I found myself in a space of introspection. The joy and support she brought into my life compelled me to reflect on my priorities and life goals more deeply. I had spent so much time consumed by work and my past relationship with Layla that I had lost sight of what truly mattered to me. Now, with Maya by my side, I was inspired to explore not just who I was, but who I wanted to become. One weekend, we decided to take a spontaneous trip to the mountains. As we hiked through the breathtaking scenery, the peacefulness of nature allowed my mind to wander. I felt the weight of my past lift as I took in the fresh air and stunning vistas. It was during this trip that I had a pivotal realization. Life is too short to chase goals that don't align with my true self. Sitting by a tranquil lake, I shared my thoughts with Maya. I expressed how I had often prioritized career success over personal fulfillment. While professional achievements were important, I recognized that they shouldn't come at the expense of my happiness or relationships. Maya listened thoughtfully, encouraging me to consider what I genuinely wanted out of life. In that moment, I decided it was time to realign my goals. I began to think about what brought me joy outside of work. Writing, volunteering, and spending quality time with loved ones emerged as essential elements I wanted to integrate into my life. I realized that my career should enhance my life rather than define it. Returning home, I started making tangible changes. I set aside dedicated time for writing, something I had long neglected. I began volunteering at a local community center, which provided a sense of fulfillment I had been missing. These activities not only enriched my life, but also expanded my perspective on what it meant to contribute to the world around me. With Maya's support, I revisited my professional goals as well. I realized that while ambition is valuable, it's important to pursue a career path that aligns with my passions. I started exploring opportunities that allowed me to blend my professional skills with my newfound interests, focusing on projects that could make a difference in the community. This re-evaluation of my priorities extended to my relationships as well. I committed to nurturing my connections with family and friends, understanding that these relationships were just as crucial to my happiness as my professional success. I made it a point to reach out to those I had lost touch with, rekindling connections that enriched my life. Through this process, I learned that happiness isn't a destination, but a journey shaped by the choices we make. By redefining my priorities and embracing the present, I was paving the way for a more fulfilling life. In the end, I understood that real success lies in the balance between ambition and personal happiness, and I was grateful to have Maya alongside me as I ventured into this new chapter. As my relationship with Maya deepened, I found myself on a profound journey of growth and self-discovery. The lessons I had learned from my past with Layla and the supportive nature of my new connection encouraged me to explore not only who I was, but who I wanted to become. Each day with Maya was a chance to peel back layers I didn't even know existed. One evening, as we shared dinner and laughter at our favorite restaurant, I noticed a shift within myself. I felt more confident, more grounded, and more in tune with my emotions than I had in years. Maya had a way of making me feel seen and valued, encouraging me to embrace my authentic self without fear of judgment. This newfound sense of safety allowed me to reflect on the aspects of my personality that I had previously suppressed. I began to embrace vulnerability, sharing my fears and dreams with Maya in ways I had never done before. I talked about my insecurities, my aspirations, and the parts of my past that still lingered in the shadows. Rather than shying away from these discussions, Maya engaged with empathy, sharing her own experiences of overcoming challenges and pursuing her passions. It became clear that we were building a partnership rooted in mutual understanding and respect. Motivated by Maya's encouragement, I embarked on new adventures. I took up painting, a hobby I had long abandoned, allowing my creativity to flourish. Through this artistic expression, I discovered a powerful outlet for my emotions, one that provided clarity and joy. Each brushstroke felt like a step toward healing, a testament to my evolving self. I also explored personal development through books and workshops. I immersed myself in topics like mindfulness, emotional intelligence, and relationship dynamics. The more I learned, the more I realized how much I had grown since my breakup with Layla. I began to understand that self-discovery isn't just about reflecting on the past. It's about actively seeking knowledge and experiences that shape us. As my self-awareness expanded, I recognized the importance of setting healthy boundaries. I learned to communicate my needs clearly and assertively, fostering a sense of empowerment I had rarely felt before. This newfound strength allowed me to navigate my relationships with greater clarity, ensuring that I surrounded myself with individuals who uplifted and inspired me. In moments of solitude, I reflected on my journey, acknowledging the pain I had endured, but also celebrating the resilience I had developed. I realized that growth often stems from adversity, and every challenge I faced had equipped me with valuable insights. The emotional turmoil I had experienced with Layla had transformed into a source of strength, guiding me toward a more authentic and fulfilling life. Through this journey of growth and self-discovery, I learned that true happiness lies in understanding oneself and embracing the complexities of life. With Maya by my side, I felt encouraged to continue exploring the depths of my being, confident that every step taken was a step toward a brighter future. As I reflected on my journey with Maya, I was filled with a sense of hope and gratitude. The experiences we had shared, the laughter, the adventures, and the deep conversations had transformed not only my outlook on love, but also my understanding of myself. My past with Layla, once a source of pain, had become a stepping stone toward a brighter future. One sunny afternoon, as we strolled through a picturesque park, I took Maya's hand and expressed how grateful I was for her presence in my life. I told her that our relationship had taught me invaluable lessons about love, balance, and the importance of cherishing every moment. She smiled, her eyes sparkling with warmth, and it struck me how far we had come together. Our relationship had evolved from something uncertain into a profound partnership built on mutual respect and understanding. I had learned that love isn't merely about spending every waking moment together. It's about making the time we do share meaningful and memorable. Together, we were building a life that celebrated both our individual dreams and our shared aspirations. Maya and I began to discuss our future openly. We talked about our hopes and dreams, exploring what it would look like to merge our lives while honoring our individuality. This conversation was liberating, allowing us to envision a future filled with love, adventure, and personal growth. One weekend, we decided to take a trip to a nearby beach. As we walked along the shore, I felt an overwhelming sense of peace wash over me. The waves lapping at our feet felt like a reminder of life's ebb and flow, a beautiful metaphor for our relationship. I realized that just as the tides change, so do our lives, and embracing these changes is key to finding happiness. In that moment, I made a promise to myself to continue prioritizing my growth, nurturing my relationships, and embracing the joys of life, both big and small. I knew that challenges would arise, but with Maya by my side, I felt ready to face them head-on. As we watched the sunset paint the sky in hues of orange and pink, I leaned in and kissed Maya softly. It was a moment filled with unspoken promises and a deep understanding that we were embarking on a new chapter together. I felt a sense of completeness I hadn't experienced before, an assurance that I had found a love that complemented my journey rather than overshadowed it. In the end, I learned that life is a series of beginnings and endings, each leading us closer to the person we are meant to become. With Maya, I was ready to embrace the future with open arms, knowing that love, growth, and self-discovery would forever be intertwined in our journey together.